Nikki Shin doesn't know it yet. There's a girl out there, her cousin. She's the key to everything. It is time.
What did you know about Kung Fu before this show?
Before this show, I actually didn't know very much about it. The original was a little bit before my time, but once I was lucky enough to get the part of Nikki, I did my research, told my mom about it. She freaked out because she and my uncle were huge fans of the original, and then I got to get into that world a little bit.
And Eddie?
Yeah, I was actually familiar with the sequel series, The Legend Continues. I used to watch that in the 90s with my grandma and my dad sometimes. And it was really cool when I got to tell family and friends that I booked the part. Everyone was really excited because I did not quite realize how impactful the original series was. Like, so many people I know have actually seen it and loved it and watched it, back in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. So it was really special to get to share that with them, knowing that here I am working on the reimagining of Kung Fu.
Right, guys, could you tell your friends or family that you're taking part in this project, or it was something like top secret? Don't tell anyone before we announce it to the world. How does it look in the first few weeks?
It was top secret for like an hour. That was it. There weren't really any parameters built around that. We could tell our closest friends and family, and then very soon after, the publicity department did a great job with announcing it, like maybe just a day later. So there wasn't any worry or pressure about keeping it secret.
All right, when you have such a show and it's a very active one, and the things that you had to do on the screen, I can imagine that you're not doing it in the real life. You weren't prepared for it. So how did it look to prepare you, to make you such a good fighters on the screen that I actually can believe that is something you are doing from your day of your birth? Olivia, this is for you the question, because I know that you didn't have anything to do with the martial arts.
Yeah, I didn't have any prior martial arts training besides, driving my little sister to her Taekwondo classes. But I had a dance background, and with the dance background, it was really helpful in picking up film and TV fight choreography, because it really is a dance. Eddie and I have done some sparring scenes together, and it really feels like we're dance partners with choreography. The only difference is that he has to pretend to get beaten up by me, and
no, I really got beaten up.
Oh yeah, no, I really hit him. But yeah, and we have to shout out our incredible stunts team, because they whipped us into shape. They made sure that we had very basic, for me at least, basic knowledge of stances and forms, and just really, getting me to a good place foundation wise, so that when we learn choreography, I can always go back to the basics.
All right, Olivia. So what dance did you practice before that it's similar to kicking ass like you're doing on the screen?
I did all forms of dance, ballet, hip hop, jazz, contemporary, and the flexibility really translated into some of the choreography that I get to do.
And Eddie, your fighting skills, when did it all begin, and how did it transition to the show?
I was lucky to have my parents take my brother and I to Kempo karate classes back when I was like 9. So I started a while ago. It was more like a hobby. I did it, after school or on weekends. It wasn't like too serious, but I had a great time doing it when I was a kid. So I got to dabble in different styles as a kid, and then when I got older and I knew I wanted to do action, I learned very quickly that fighting in real life versus fighting on camera are two very different things. It's like Olivia said, it's like a dance that has to look violent and beautiful at the same time.
I think everybody realized that after watching Karate Kid and trying to do the same at school, saying like, listen guys, I can do it, and then that's it. One punch and it's over.
Yeah, exactly. You got to be careful.
Hmm.
And tell me the whole preparation of the stand team. How did it look like? How did it start, and when it start progressing that you see by yourself that it's more natural for you guys, that you don't have to worry so hard that you actually will smack somebody because you were too quick or too slow?
You know, I want to say probably by the third episode, because we do have fights every single episode. By the third, I think all of us started to get more comfortable with what film and TV martial arts and fighting is, you know, and really honing in on how we work together, because you know we're fighting kind of each other throughout the season, and any bad guys that come in, a lot of times they're part of our stunt team, and so we really get to know each other's kind of level of comfort and things like that, and so we're able to communicate that through our bodies.
And also the show is not only about fighting, but it also shows Asian culture and is bringing it more to the world. How important was it for you guys when you saw the script that it's not only about, as I said, fights, but also showing the culture, the family, the rules that are in this culture?
It's super important. You know, we know that representation matters, and when we read the script, we saw that this is very much about specifically a Chinese American family, not just a vague general Asian family somewhere in the world, but rather a Chinese American family living in San Francisco. So it's always been important for us to touch on specific nuances and showing, you know, respect and accuracy to our culture, which is still a very diverse one, because even though everyone in the Shen family is Chinese, and then the other characters surrounding that are also Chinese, we actors come from a very diverse Chinese background from around the world, which is really cool actually, because we can bond over that and share and celebrate those differences. But when it comes time to bringing that to the screen, we get to have a little bit of input on that, and our producers are wonderful about keeping a really open dialogue with us and helping us get it right, quote unquote.
Yeah, I can see that it's very, not to say brutal, but very popular right now to show the rules of Asian people in the United States. We had Terror, the second season, which was brilliant. We have also Warrior that is shown, and is also showing this kind of the history. So I'm curious, how did you see the shows that I was talking about, and what different kind of things can we find in your show?
Yeah, our stunt coordinator for Kung Fu was the stunt coordinator at Warrior. And so we watched because we love representation. It was an interesting story. It's fun to see an all Asian cast over there as well, or a predominantly Asian cast over there. And then of course we wanted to support our stunt coordinator. But yeah, Warrior is incredible. It really shows kind of San Francisco, because it's also set in San Francisco, correct?
Yes.
But
Yeah.
very, very long time ago. And so it's fun to see that, and then our present day San Francisco, Chinatown. And I think what our show is doing so beautifully is, as you said, showing the nuances of what it means to be Chinese American, and you know, really inviting audiences in to see what a modern Chinese American family in San Francisco could be like. One of the ways we could be.
Kicking ass, we know. And tell me, guys, after the 5 episodes, because I know that this much was shown already, which stunt was for you the most difficult one?
Good question.
Great question.
Well, Olivia does, like, most of the action you see, like, Olivia is very much, when I say involved, I mean like she's like in it. So she might be the better
Don't
person
throw
to ask.
her under a bus. I could see you also on the screen doing some things. So don't be like that.
Yeah. I think for myself, learning the bow staff was very hard. I was using muscles that I had never used before. And to make myself look like I've been doing it for years was probably the biggest challenge for me.
So Eddie, you had some time to think about.
Yeah. So as Olivia mentioned, we've had a couple of sparring scenes. That's scary for me because I'm fighting the lead, and one, she's a badass. Two, if I accidentally hurt her, I'm gonna feel very scared about the security of my job. So that was probably the most terrifying thing I've had to do.
So how many times did it happen actually that some of your punches went in and you smack your partner?
We gave each other some bad bruises.
I got a nice shiner here. It's
I
not there
elbowed
anymore.
him so hard on accident, and he had a huge bruise for.
Oh no,
Like a week.
no, that wasn't your fault because I went in like that, and we were supposed to meet each other at a spot, but just the placement was just a little bit off. And fight choreography, just like any physical activity, is always a game of inches, and the details really matter. But this shiner, this little trophy I had for a couple of weeks, it was pretty cool. It was like a badge of honor.
But I will say, Eddie and I actually, we will be in our sparring session for the episode, and we'll be like, no, really hit me, because we really like positive contact to really help sell it. And so I'm like, just do it, and he's like, go for it, I don't even care.
Yeah, because on top of the fighting, there's the acting that's happening simultaneously. You be like, you can't fight and then switch to acting and switch back to fighting. It's all happening at the same time. So that's a very tricky, delicate, very fun balance to try to achieve.
So I will switch this question on the other side. Was there any stunt that you couldn't do, or they didn't let you do because of the insurance stuff, and because if you get hurt, the show will be not canceled but delayed? So was there anything that you couldn't do, and we think you did watching this series?
The most, I can say, the most recent episode that just aired here in the States, there's a takedown where I take Henry down.
There's
It's
a roll. It's a whole
tumble.
thing. Yeah.
And I thought it was us for a second, and I was like, I don't remember doing that. But our incredible stunt doubles, Megan Hui and Kendo, they performed that stunt for us because we don't know how to do it. And also, I think I would break Eddie.
No, see, you watch that thinking that's how a great double works. It's like, you got to think it's us. You thought it was us. I watched it the whole time. I was like, nope, I cannot do that. They made us look so good. Thank you, Ken and Megan. Our stunt doubles are amazing. The whole stunt team, just top to bottom, an amazing team, and we wouldn't have this show without them.
Nope.
Of course, but I could imagine that when the show progresses and you learn more, probably more things that in the beginning they said, listen guys, you cannot do it. After a while they say, like, you're prepared. After a few months, you're prepared, you can do it. So is there anything you would like to do in the future that you are not allowed to do right now?
I want to get up in a wire and fly a little bit. They wouldn't let me do huge wire work where, I get yanked into the air because of safety reasons. But I would love to do that because I love roller coasters. I love thrill. So it looks really fun. And that's my next goal.
All right, Eddie?
I want to throw Olivia off a cliff next season, for real.
That could be the last season, you know that, right?
Yep.
He's the Kung Fu now.
Yeah, a boy can dream.
We have Kung Fu, and it's in the Marvel universe, Shaolin and this stuff. And coming to this thing, when you were growing up, was there any show or movie about fights? And I'm not saying not only about Karate Kid, but such a things with martial arts that you said, wow, in the future, I would like to do something like that on screen. Did you have such a titles?
when Power Rangers first came on TV, it blew my mind. I was jumping off my couch. Like, this is back in the days of VHS, and I thank my mother for this. Like, she would, the bus would let us off at 2:34 p.m. in the afternoon. Power Rangers would have started by 2:30 p.m. sharp. So bless my mother, she hits the VHS record button for us so that we can go back, catch the, as much as we can, then go back and rewind and watch again. But Power Rangers, bunch of Jackie Chan stuff, Bruce Lee, Jet Li, those are my favorites growing up for sure. Oh, and I, grew up playing the Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat games. So yeah.
Which Power Rangers were you when you were thinking?
The Blue
Green
Ranger.
or what?
Billy the Blue Ranger. Blue is my favorite color. The Triceratops was my favorite dinosaur. He was a little bit nerdy, wore glasses, so I identified with all of that. Blue Ranger, hands down.
That's weird because all the boys are saying the White Ranger. He had the sword and the biggest robot.
Absolutely, he was great. No disrespect, Blue Ranger.
And Olivia, did you have such a show or a movie that you liked to watch when you were younger?
I'm gonna give a shout out to our on-screen dad and say that Rush Hour was one of the first movies with fighting integrated into the storytelling that I was like, that's dope, and had me jumping off my own couch as well. And then when I was little, I was the Yellow Ranger when I would play pretend at the park. So I was the Yellow Ranger jumping off the jungle gym. But yeah, Rush Hour, Jackie Chan is so funny and so full of heart in that movie, even infused in his fighting. And, we get to see the reason that he's fighting. And that was just really cool for me to see.
For me, Jackie Chan is a crazy guy. I love the Rush Hour, but mostly those last 5 minutes where you can see all the stunts that he tried to do and he failed, and you say, damn,
that's always the best part of the movie. It's so much fun seeing him attempt it, and even seeing him fail. Like, you're rooting for him, you're there with him, and then when he nails it, it's so satisfying, and we love it.
Because after that you actually believe that everything that you see he's doing, it's not some CGI stuff, it's real. And sometimes it's pain for him, but that's why I love him. And that's why I love the Rush Hours, because everything was there. Throwing out of the window, everything was him. That was amazing. And my final question right now, it's to Eddie. You said you were a fan of Mortal Kombat. What did you think about the movie, the new release, the new opening for this?
Oh, it's fun. I love. This is one thing that I want to talk about, but I can't because for those who haven't seen it yet. But there's this thing that they brought in, which made it feel like the video game. I mean, the costumes, the aesthetic. I was like, it's really like the video game characters popped off the game and into the movie. So that was really fun.
And shout out to Ludi.
Oh, shout out to Ludi, our kung fu brother. Killing it as Liu Kang. He was great as Liu Kang.
So you would like to take some part in, I don't know, Mortal Kombat 2 or 3 when they say like, Eddie, we saw what you did in Kung Fu. Let's meet up. Let's come on. Let's join us.
That would be a huge compliment and honor. So yeah, I'm down.
Which fatality would be yours?
Which fighter?
Fatality. Not fighter, fatality.
Fatality. I was gonna say I would want to play Kenji, but fatality. Can I opt for a friendship? Like, so instead of like the moment where you're waiting to like cut the guy's head off, I pull out like a balloon and a teddy bear and hand it to them, and everybody would be like, "What? What did he just do?"
What a blue Power Ranger.
Olivia, did you play Mortal Kombat when you were younger?
Nope. I don't know if you guys saw all my confusion, but I didn't play Mortal Kombat, but it's really fun to hear you guys talk about it. And I would like a balloon and a teddy bear.
I will give you a friendship.
Please.
Yeah.
Eddie, you have to show her Mortal Kombat. And for me, that was all. Thank you very much for this interview. I love you guys, and fingers crossed for the next season. Thank you.
Thank you very much, David. Thank you.